Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Tolu J. So as we know, you guys, Valentine's Day is coming up. You know, the day of love. I love love. I was just thinking, like, why don't I do a cute little makeup tutorial for you guys? Maybe give you guys some inspo as you're getting ready for your date nights, your girl nights, your love night, whatever you're doing on that day. This tutorial is gonna have everything. So I'm gonna do my eyebrows on camera as well so that you guys can see it from start to finish. So let's get started. So yeah, as you guys can see, my brows are not necessarily identical right now in how like they're shaped, and that's because I haven't gotten them threaded in a while, because even though threading results are amazing and it lasts, y'all, the pain was a lot. So I was just like, let me just chill for a bit. We're just gonna work with what I got. So I use the Morphe brow pencil to do my brows, and usually I like to just line my brows a bit, shade it in a bit before I start doing anything else. So first I shade it in at the bottom, and then I go to the top a little bit, and I like kind of emphasize the shape just like that. But I don't shade it in too much because I don't like when it gets too dark. So literally, this is exactly how I shaded it in. That was literally very quick, and I'm gonna do the same thing for the other side. Shade it in the same way. And although right now the shape of my brows are not exactly identical, usually I still do my best when I'm like doing my makeup and concealing it to make it as identical as possible. And usually I think I get it pretty well. Some days it's not necessarily identical, but a good amount of days it is. So I'm definitely gonna try to get them as identical as possible for you guys in this video. But yeah, as you can see, I'm just kind of brushing my brows and shading it in. Remember, don't do it too dark. Well, if you like it darker, that's fine. But I just feel like when I do my makeup, I don't like when my brows are too dark. I don't really like the way it looks. So this is my brows shaded in so far. Nothing else is done at the moment. And I like to use a brow setter to kind of brush out my brows just a little bit. I feel like it looks better when I'm doing my brows and I conceal them, but I like to shade before I kind of brush them out. A lot of people shade after. I shade before I brush them out. Y'all just ignore my phone dinging in the background, please. So this helps them stay in place all day, and I like that. I just use a little bit though. Oh my god, I'm about to turn my ringer off, you guys. What the heck? Anyways, you guys, moving forward, so we're about to conceal the brows. I use LA Girl. I feel like it's affordable and it's pretty quality for brows. I've never really used it as like an under eye concealer. I try to use something that I think is more high quality, but I know a lot of people like LA Girl and it gets the job done. So what I do is I do a lighter concealer to conceal the bottom and then a darker one to conceal the top. And my lighter concealer is Toffee, and then my darker concealer is Chestnut. Those are the shades that I use. So I just swatch a bit of each on my arm. And then we're about to get to work. Y'all, we're about to get to work. Okay, so let me show you guys. So I have an angled brush. That's what I think is best when trying to like conceal your brows. I use an angled brush, and I just start cleaning it up, just like this. Just like that, cleaning it up. And then I start spreading the concealer down a bit. And I could still use the remainder from the concealer that's on the brush to keep cleaning it up. Just like that. And the bottom is basically cleaned up already. It's literally just that simple. I know brows tends to be like the most difficult part for people, but just honestly, don't overthink it too much. And yeah, literally just like that. And the top, I go over the top and I do the same thing, trying to clean it up, but still kind of creating the shape that I want. I'm the type of person, I don't like when my brows are too thick. So sometimes I over conceal a bit as a way to make them a little thinner. Literally just like that. Y'all see that? My tail is a little longer than I want to, so I'm just gonna conceal it a bit more and shorten the tail. See how easy that is, you guys? This eyebrow took me like literally a minute. But it's all in how you shape it when you're filling it in with the pencil. So make sure you try to shape it in the same shape that you want it to follow. And that's literally it. And then I take like a random brush and I just kind of blend it out a little bit. Mostly I blend out the top. Blend out the bottom a little bit. Not too much. Because when I put the foundation on, it's gonna blend anyways. But yeah, literally, just that simple. First brow is done. And I brush out the front to make it look more natural. Okay, now we're gonna go to the second brow. Now this is where it can get a little bit tricky when you're trying to get them to be identical. Because it's easy when you're just doing your first one, but the second brow is always the one that tends to take me a little bit longer. I don't know, in this tutorial, this is one of the fastest I've ever done my brows. Usually, I spend like 20 minutes on my brows. So I'm just grateful that what I'm doing is translating perfectly today, and it's translating well on camera, because I don't want to be sitting here like, yeah guys, you just do this, and it's not actually doing it. You know, like that's so embarrassing. So conceal the bottom. I already have a bit of a bad feeling about this side. Trying to conceal the bottom to match the shape as the other one as much as possible. Make sure you're taking your time as well. Okay, now let's try the top. By the way, in case you guys are wondering what I'm looking at, I have my vanity mirror behind me. So that is what I'm looking at, but I'm trying to make sure you guys can see everything I'm doing as clear as possible. Oh, it's working out. I love that for us, guys. I love that for us so much. Sorry, I don't want my hand to block you guys. See, I'm kind of thinning it out a little bit because like I said, I like thinner brows a bit. But I don't like when my brows are thin when I have a bare face. So that's why I always just over conceal instead of like actually going to get my eyebrows threaded too thinly. Because I feel like on my natural face, I like fuller brows. And then on my makeup face, I like it not even thin. Because honestly, this is not thin. This has nothing. If this is not considered thin compared to how they used to do brows like back in the 90s. And early 2000s. I have to conceal this part again, but guys, we're a little close to it looking pretty identical. So let me brows is just a thing you have to play with. I'll be honest, brows isn't something like, you can watch tutorials, but because everybody's brow is different, you have to constantly do your brows and figure out what works for you. And then also it's like the more you do it, the more you just get used to it. That's literally the only, like truthfully, because I know when I first started makeup, I used to watch like brow videos and I would follow every step and their eyebrows would look so good and mine would just look like, ugh. And that literally is because everyone's brow shape is different. So it's hard to emulate exactly what someone else is doing. But this is literally how I do my brows, you guys. And for the most part, they're decently identical. I'm satisfied. I hope you guys are satisfied with this too, because I don't want us to spend too long on brows. But yeah, I'm gonna give you guys a close-up. Yeah, pretty identical. Just like that. That's exactly how I do my brows. Okay, you guys, so next is skin prep. I already like washed my face and stuff because I just took a shower before starting this video, so my skin is already cleansed. But honestly, to do my makeup, all I do is put on sunscreen, but it's a certain type of sunscreen. So let me focus on this. It is the Innis Free Daily UV Defense Sunscreen. I've spoken about this in a previous video before. You guys, this sunscreen is amazing. Like, it is such a good base for makeup. It makes my makeup look extremely flawless. And a lot of times I don't even use primer. with this sunscreen. I can wear this and the thing that I mix my foundation with, which I'm going to show you guys. So I can literally wear this and, you know, not putting any like real primer on my skin, and I could wear it for like 12 hours and I'll get very lightly oily. Very lightly oily. Speaking of that, I'm probably going to do a future video where I show you guys the wear test of like no primer and just the sunscreen, and I'll check in with you guys every hour and not like pat my face or anything, so you guys can see like how long it holds up. But this is definitely a good investment. It was literally like $16. They sell it at Sephora, and I really like it. It's really good. It's really good. It gets the job done for sure. And that's speaking from someone that has oily skin. So my skin gets oily with makeup pretty quickly. So yeah, that is really all I use to prep my skin before I get started. Okay, you guys, so for foundation, I am loyal to my girl Nars, okay, because she never fails me. So I use the shade New Caledonia Deep 2, but I mix it. I did a video with like a whole shocking video when I tried this for the first time a couple months ago. This is the LA Girl, what is it called? LA Girl Color Foundation Mixing Pigment. You guys, do you see why half the bottle is almost gone? I use this thing every time I do my makeup. Like, now that I've discovered it, I can't go without it. It's so good. I love how it like makes my foundation match me even more. You know, and Nars is already a soft matte foundation, so this coupled with this, I think this also has like a mattifying agent in it coupled with this, plus the sunscreen. No guys, my makeup is on the whole day. So I literally just squeezing some of the foundation on my hand, then I do 2 pumps of this on it. So literally 2 pumps, like 2.5. I don't do a full 2 pumps. Then I just take the butt of any like brush and I mix it together, and that's how it looks. Literally, the blue literally disappears into the foundation very quickly. So now I'm just gonna put the remainder of this on, because let's not waste any product. And I'm taking my Real Technique brush, and right before I start blending, I want to say, if your brush is dirty, try to clean it. That has such a big effect on like how flawlessly your makeup goes on. So always do your best to use clean brushes. What I like to do is like, I like to wash my brushes frequently, but if I'm not able to like back to back, I always take alcohol and I literally rub my brush on it, and it dries in like 2 minutes and the brush is clean. So literally make sure you're using clean brushes to get the smoothest kind of application. So yeah, I'm buffing this into my skin pretty lightly, but this foundation is very full coverage. Oh my god, Nars really snapped. I really pray that they never ever discontinue. Even though I have hyperpigmentation, I don't have to like put concealer over my dark spots, because I have a lot of hyperpigmentation right now. My skin is like having a bit of a reaction. But do you guys see how easily it's covering that? Compare it. I mean, I put a little bit on here already, but no, Nars is that girl, you guys. Nars is that girl. It's so good. So yeah, I'm just going to be lightly buffing in my foundation. Don't be stingy. I know a lot of people preach you don't need a lot of foundation, but if you really want your makeup to look good and flawless, don't be stingy with the foundation. I'm telling you, I wouldn't be like Meredith, I think it's like Huxbury. She uses a lot of foundation. Her makeup still looks really good though, like, but I would say hers is an excessive amount. But just don't be shy to use foundation, because trust me, when your face is all like full coverage, foundation covered, the makeup looks so much better. And that's the thing with me having this short hair. I've made previous videos where I've said I hate having hair in my face, and having short hair and doing makeup, the hair is kind of resting on my forehead, which kind of annoys me a little bit, but we're not focusing on that. We're focusing on the beat at hand. Okay, you guys, and that is it. Literally, that's it. So we're ready to move to the next step, which is concealer. The thing is, I have different shades of concealer, so my concealer mixes are different every time. But for this video, I'm going to be using 2 different types of concealers. So Too Faced is always so trusty and handy, so I'm going to be using Too Faced in the shade Warm Sand. That is going to be my first base of concealer, and I'm going to put it here. This is my placement. in like inner corners. And then because I like a snatched and lifted look, I put it here as well. Just like that. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. So inner corners. And then snatched up, same way. Literally, y'all see that? And then I also like to put concealer right here around my upper lip. And then I also like to put concealer right on my forehead because I like to bronze my forehead, but we'll get into that a bit later. So this is my concealer placement, exactly like this. Also, don't be stingy with your concealer as well. Honestly, just don't be stingy with any products when doing your makeup. Trust me, you're not gonna look cakey. You're not gonna look cakey. Okay. And a lot of people let their concealer dry. I actually don't let my concealer dry and I still experience like full coverage. So you can do what works for you. If you want to let your concealer dry a little bit, that's fine, but I'm just going to start blending immediately. I use a Real Techniques brush. I also use different brushes to blend my concealer depending on the day, but today this is the brush that I'm going to be using. And then I just start blending very lightly though. So the way I'm holding it, don't blend too aggressively, because when you blend it out too much, it just kind of seeps in with your skin too much, and it's almost like you didn't even really use concealer. See? And it's like, even then, it's still not too bright. I usually blend where my like eyebrows start, and I blend out just a little bit, just like this, making like a little circle, just like that. Honestly, I feel like I could put more, so I'm gonna put a little bit more on my forehead because I want it a bit brighter. But look at how easy it blended out. See, yeah, so now you can see it a little more, and I'm tapping lightly. Remember, with your concealer, you always want to tap lightly. See, and it blended out really well. Then I'm gonna move to my upper lip part. Once again, I'm blending out lightly again. Too Faced is also very, very, very full coverage, you guys. Very full coverage. It's honestly just a great product. I don't really love their foundation that much. I think it oxidizes a lot, but their concealer is really good. And then sometimes I kind of buff out the edges of my concealer with my foundation brush. But yeah. And I kind of bring up the concealer a bit when I'm blending it out on my upper lip area. So now I'm going to start my under eye. Same thing, we're blending out softly. And I kind of just go in between both and just blend, go back and forth, like blending out both back and forth. There's no reason, you don't have to do it like that, but I just like to. Then I blend and I kind of drag this up softly, and then I start blending. And I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. Drag it out softly, and then you blend. And I don't like when it's too harsh, so I'm gonna blend it out a bit so it's not too harsh. And you keep blending. Just like that. Keep blending. Getting all that under eye. See how full coverage this concealer is? It's amazing. A little goes a long way. And then I use the remainder of the product and I kind of go over my forehead again. And I kind of just making sure it's blended nicely. So now I'm blending in the harshness in my nose for when I contour, because I don't like when the concealer is too harsh. like that. Now I'm gonna take my foundation brush and I'm buffing out the edges. And I like to kind of buff out this part a little bit because, like I said, I don't want it to be too harsh. So you can still see it, just not it's just not too harsh. So I'm still buffing it out a bit. And then this part, buffing it out, buffing it out. And when it comes to this part, what I like to do is I like to take the foundation brush and kind of pat the ends of it so that the line isn't so like all the way to the end. It's just a slight lift and then it blends into the rest of my face, which is the color of my foundation, if that makes sense. Because I don't like when the line is like all the way back. I feel like it makes the makeup, it's just a little too harsh. So I'm blending the edges. So right now the lift, there's like a lift up here, but it stops like in the middle. And it'll still give you like that lift up effect, you know? Okay. So that is the first layer of concealer. And this is how it's looking so far. So this is definitely a trust the process type of thing. So I wouldn't say it looks crazy right now, but it doesn't necessarily look good as well. So for my second base of concealer, I'm using the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop in a very light shade. This is shade 07. It's very, very, very light, but it blends very nicely with the Warm Sand as the base. Just watch. So I put this on my inner corners. Y'all see how light that is? But trust me, it's gonna come together really nicely. And then I just blend lightly. Remember, you tap, tap, tap light. Never blend too harshly. And I'm kind of bringing it back. You have to be patient with blending. That's the only way it looks good. Y'all see how it just dissolved? So this side is with the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop, and this side is without. So it helps the makeup be a little less, I think, like have a bit less of a yellow undertone. I definitely like this side better. And that's literally it. Look at how easily it blended. So I'm gonna do the same thing for the other side. Put it on the inner corner. And now we're gonna blend lightly and drag it out. We drag it out a bit, but you still want to focus on the inner part. Whew. Just like that, you guys. Just like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing where I placed concealer the last time. So buff it out lightly. And this makeup, you guys, is flash proof. Trust me. I love taking digital camera pics. And this is flash proof, so you don't have to worry. You just have to make sure you're blending nicely and then using a good setting powder. I believe I use the best setting powder in the world, you guys, and no one can tell me otherwise because I've tried different setting powders. I'm open, so if there's a setting powder you guys would recommend over the one that I'm about to share, please be sure to let me know, and I'm trying it. But I would definitely say I think I've graduated from Sasha Buttercup. I used to use that when I first started, and don't get me wrong, it is good. I'm not gonna, the girlies that use it, please don't be offended because I'm not bashing you guys, but I feel like this one is better. What I'm about to show you guys. I know I'm making it a secret. It's not a secret. I'm using HUDA, you guys. HUDA is that girl. It's not a secret. I tell everybody, Huda is life-changing. And people that have listened to me and started using Huda, they always come back and they're like, Tolu was amazing. And I'm like, I told you, like, but you see the light, you can't go back. You can't. I'm trying to show you guys the light because I wish somebody showed me the light earlier, or they tried to, but I just thought they were dramatizing because Huda is very hyped. But I'm not gonna lie, that's probably one of the few makeup products that is worth the hype. So what I'm doing, guys, I'm doing the same thing I did, just buffing out the edges. You don't want your concealer to be too harsh ever. So I'm just buffing out, and then reblending some parts that I think need a bit more blending. But it's already looking pretty, it's coming together pretty nicely already. And the secret is always do your liquids first, okay? So we're about to go into contour, but I'm using liquid contour before we start mixing with powders. I think that's what takes away from a flawless base and like a flawless look. A lot of people, they mix their liquids and powders. So it's just like even just think about it, like natural life, like aside from makeup, liquid doesn't mix that well with like powder, like it just doesn't. So think about it with your face, it's gonna be the same problem, you know? But yeah, so far so good. For my contour, you guys, I used thread. I got this from Target. It was like $7.99, $8.99. I'll put the shade in the description box, but this is 22 Deep Neutral, and I just use like a little brush, and this is how I do my contour. So I kind of make this face, and I don't really have a hard contour line, but when I do that, this kind of emphasizes it. That's literally how I do my contour. See that? And then I take this brush, it's kind of a little flat, I think it's an e.l.f. brush, yeah, and then I blend it up. I don't really like harsh contour, so I blend my contour out a lot. I like subtle. And you kind of see that. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. Make that face. And now we're gonna blend it out. But try blending it up a bit. Yeah, I wasn't lying when I told you guys I do a subtle contour. But it's like when I'm talking, you can see it more defined now. So trust me, it's subtle, but like it still gets the job done. Now we're gonna move to the nose. So what I like to do is I like to kind of bring it down like that on one side. Then I kind of like to bring it down like that on the other side. That is how I do my contour and my nose. And then when I'm blending it out, that is when I drag it down. And I try to drag it down a bit towards the middle of my nose, a bit though, not too much. So this is how I'm blending it out. And I blend it up into my brow a bit. And then I'm bringing it down. Same thing I'm gonna do on this side. And you're blending it just like that. Just like that. You see what I'm doing? So I'm like, just like that. And I don't like when this part gets rough, so make sure you buff it out with your concealer brush a bit. Blending softly. Blending with the soft hand or with the light hand. That is truly the secret. I'm gonna put a bit more contour, so it's a little more, it's a bit darker, and then I'm gonna blend it out again. And we're gonna reblend this part because it got a little harsh. There we go. And so I'm gonna go back and use the Toffee, the lighter part that I used on the bottom of my brows, and that's what I'm gonna use to kind of highlight the middle of my nose or the bridge of my nose for my contour. And then you can use anything, but I use a beauty blender. This blender has been through a lot, you guys. And then I blend it out. Just like that. You guys see that? I want to put a little more so it's a little brighter. So I'm going to put a bit more. Oh. But it's really just that simple. Trust me, if you follow the steps that I'm taking, you will love your face at the end. Trust me. Taking your time, blending out well. And also some of these products play a factor into why I think the makeup is coming together like this. I know drugstore makeup is good, don't get me wrong, and I'm actually going to do a video using just drugstore products in the future. So, you know, just thinking about more affordable, but like if you have the budget, makeup is an investment and it's worth it. So I'm telling you, you're going to feel even good and even prettier and even better every time you go out and your makeup just looks like quality, you know? So yeah, you guys, that's literally it. We're done with the liquids. And now we're gonna move to powders. So as I told you guys, I used the Huda Beauty in shade Banana Bread. Banana Bread eats so bad, you guys. I think this is actually my favorite step as well. You see that coming out? I don't know if you guys can see it coming out. I don't like the smell though. Huda Beauty does have a smell, but it doesn't affect me at least. And I do have sensitive eyes and it's never affected me. So honestly, I think it'll be fine. But I like to use a, what is this thing called again? I forgot what it's called, you guys, I'm sorry. I've used this a couple times. So if you have a newer one, go ahead and use that one. But also it doesn't really matter as long as it's not like filthy. This just has leftover powder on it. But then I tap it and then I tap it in my palm a little bit before putting it directly on my face. It's a small step, but it makes a difference. Then we tap, tap, tap. That's the thing about Huda. It snatches so good, you guys. Look at that. Look at that. Snatch so good. Then I come here, the inner eye, just like that. I hope as I'm taking my time, you guys are really getting to see the gist of everything I'm doing. Tap lightly. Just like that, you guys. And I even have some residue on here, and that's what I'm going to use on my forehead. Just like that. And I'm going to put a slight amount on the highlighted part of my nose, just a little bit. Just like that. And then I like to go and put a couple more layers of it on each other. Because honestly, the more powder you use, the more flawless your makeup looks. Trust me. At least with Huda, it's not cakey. We can't say the same about others. We can't say the same about other products, but Huda is not cakey. Honestly, the more the better. It's not a product that you have to be scared of or feel like, oh, if I put too much, my makeup is gonna look not great. You know, it's not a product you have to be scared of, like, by any means. See, I'm going in because I trust her. She's never failed me. And I remember, you know, I did my makeup, my birthday makeup, and I used Huda. And when my friends were doing a little speech at my dinner, guys, like, I was crying. And literally, from what I'm doing right now, like I'm pressing it in, literally, you guys, my makeup did not move. Like, I might insert a video at the, a picture at the bottom for you guys to see. And this is post me crying after I cried. Because of this Huda babe, my makeup, it didn't move. It didn't move, like it didn't move. Woo, it didn't move, you guys, it didn't move. So I will testify about Huda anytime, anywhere, any day, because she's never failed me. So yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with this. You could put more or less depending on your preference. but I'm satisfied with how much I currently have on right now. All right, and next we're gonna bronze my forehead so that when I, you know, take off the powder on my forehead, the edges of it is like cooler. Not cooler, I mean the edges of it is warmer. Okay, so I use Mocha Mami to bronze. Mocha Mami, I've had this, this was like $30. Once again, an investment because I've had this joint for like 2 years, you guys. I just pray it hasn't expired because I know makeup expires. I honestly should look to see if it has an expiration date. I don't see one, so I think that's a sign that I'm in the clear because yeah. So I'm just bronzing my forehead with this, going like kind of in an open circle and bronzing the edges of my forehead as well. You might feel like it doesn't make a difference, but I promise you it does. And then I'm gonna brush off the excess on my forehead with the brush. Make sure you're using different brushes for each step as well. You don't want to use the same brush for everything because the colors are gonna mix, and that is also a factor into flawlessness. But guys, you see how my forehead looks like warm outside but the inner part's a little lighter? That's what I like. It's nice, it looks pretty. Then I'm also dusting off the powder that I put on the bridge of my nose as well. Next, I use, what is this, Revolution Glow. This is the Splendour Ultra Matte Bronzer in shade medium. And that is what I use as a powder to go over my contour. And it's still pretty subtle. Yeah, I'm just not really too harsh when it comes to contour. I don't really like it. I used to be harsher, and when I look back at videos, I'm like, ugh, a little scary, isn't it? But yeah, I'm literally just going over the part that I put liquid contour with the powder. Just like that. And now, after I went over with the powder, I'm now gonna take my powder puff. I don't know why I forgot the name, you guys, I'm sorry. Powder puff. Definitely get a powder puff, you guys. It's an important investment. I put some setting powder on it, and then now I trace it after I put the powder contour on top already. Just like that. And don't drag it all the way to the bottom. Make sure it stops around here. It looks better, trust me, at the end. And I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. Just like that. A little more this one. Just like that, you guys. Look at how it's coming together. So clean, so nice. And these steps haven't been too difficult, they've been simple. So I don't like my setting powder to sit here too much, too long, because it makes it harsh if it does. Just like that. Just like that. Just like that, you guys. And that is my contour, period. So guys, we literally have like 2 more steps until we're done. So I hope this was easy to follow. But we're moving to my favorite step. I said setting powder was my favorite step, but blush is actually my favorite step. I'm obsessed with blush, okay? And because of the type of lip that we're gonna do, I wanna do a subtle blush look. So yeah, I wanna do a subtle blush look. I typically do something a bit harsher, but because my lip is gonna be bold, I want my blush to be, you know, subtle as well. So it's not like too much red going on in the face. So I'm using this e.l.f. blush. I've had this for 2 years as well. Okay, the shade is Always Spicy. I thought it was scratched out, but I just saw it. So it's e.l.f. Always Spicy. It's like warmish brown. It's honestly like a bronzer, but it's very pretty. So in terms of placement, I dip it on my brush, but I always dust it off a little bit on like the paper towel because I don't like when it's like too harsh. If you guys are gonna see a theme of that, I don't like when anything in my makeup is too harsh. So I tap it on here, tap it on my paper towel, and then I blend upwards. And you can smile a bit, and that'll help. And it's subtle, but I'm gonna build on it. So blush, don't be afraid to build on it, especially with a blush like this, because it's not that like in your face. So you cannot be afraid to build on it. And I'm putting the blush on before I've even wiped off the setting powder, because I said this in a previous video, it makes the makeup look so much better, trust me, when you brush off your setting powder after. It makes it look flawless. Flawless is the theme in this video. Flawless base, flawless camera, flawless makeup. Flawless is what we're going for. That is the theme. Flawless, ladies, flawless. I woke up like this. I woke up like this. Flawless, ladies. So I'm just building on the blush, building on the blush. Keeping my cheeks like this, and I'm going crazy with it. Y'all see that? It's cute. Okay, now it's time to buff out and blend in the setting powder. And guys, we're literally basically done. So you're tapping it with your powder puff and you're tapping it in lightly. And I'm gonna brush it off at the end, but tap it in first before you decide to brush it off. And sometimes I use the butt as well to blend, or to blend it out more. I like the way it looks. And I like how effective and quick it is too. I use the bottom part because it's bigger, so it covers more and gets more done quicker. Make sure you go snatch your nose, because who does not love a snatched nose? See how my eyes, my under eyes aren't creasing too much either? Yep. They crease a bit, but not much. Creasing is hard to completely avoid, but it's easier to decrease the amount of creasing, but it's not easy to completely avoid it. That I will say, it's definitely not easy to do that. And if I want, I could leave it like this, or I could brush off a bit of the excess. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. In this video, I'll brush off the excess just a bit. Sometimes I'm okay with the excess because it makes it look more flawless. And I'm brushing the nose. The nose though, that I always brush off the excess because I don't like excess powder around my nose. Just like that, you guys. Wow, this looks really nice. I'm almost shocked. As if I don't do my makeup like every weekend. But literally, these are the steps that I use, you guys. From time to time, little things might change, but this is literally how I get this look achieved every single time. Now I'm just buffing out my edges with my bronzer again, as I've said. And I'm gonna put a bit more blush because I'm such a blush girl. I love me some blush. Blush is really that girl. Whoever invented blush, you just one of the greatest inventions of all kind, truthfully. Because that's one thing, as much as I did like 2016 makeup, it was too cool. Blush makes things so much warmer, you know? So now I'm just buffing things out again. I'm even buffing the ends of my blush. Buff it out. And you guys, this is literally the look. Before mascara and gloss is on, this is the look, you guys. So clean, so cute. It's not even that heavy. I don't have that much makeup on. I mean, I did put a good amount of concealer foundation, but it doesn't look like, wow, like she has a lot of makeup on. Like, this is why I said don't be afraid to use the product, you know? Like, it looks good. So 2 more steps until we're fully done. I'm gonna put my lashes on. That I might do off camera because I don't really have the best technique yet. And I'm like, let me not come and embarrass myself. So that I'm probably gonna do off camera. but these lashes are from Amazon. I double stacked them and they are really good, really good, really good, really bomb. Oops. Yeah, so I did it off camera, you guys. My lashes are on. I almost forgot one of the most important steps, which is setting spray. So I use the Urban Decay setting spray. Urban Decay has never failed me. And I'm not stingy with my setting spray either. So I shake, 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 and I spray. Whew, I like to douse myself in it because it just makes the makeup come together so nicely. Y'all see how my thing was stuck just now? So embarrassing. I didn't even tell you guys when I was putting my lashes on off camera, I was messing up and glue literally got inside of my eye, like it was burning so bad. Do you see why I didn't want to show you guys? Do you see why I didn't want to show you guys how I put on my lashes? Because it's a hit or miss. Some days I'm like, wow, that was easy. Other days it's like giving me a hard time. But it's okay. They're on. That's all that matters. I also like to use some mascara on the bottom and on the top. Some mascara. Perfect. And then on the bottom too. I used to be so scared of this part, but I think I'm used to it now, to be honest. But still, take your time and be careful so you don't bleed on your concealer or your under eye. Okay. And then I also like to put a little cute fake mole. You don't have to, but I like it small. Just like that. I don't even know if you guys can see it. I'm gonna make it a little bigger. Just like that. Okay guys, so to bring the lip together, we are using the Sexy Red. I actually just got this from Ulta. It is the Milani, what is the name of the shade? Red Flag, 210 Red Flag. But I'm gonna start with some liner because we all know, my black women, that when we're doing red, it's best to use liner with it because I feel like it just looks better. So I'm starting with my LA Girl Dark Brown liner. And I kind of like to overline my lips a little bit. So I'm overlining just a bit. And then kind of rub it a little bit so it can spread. Yeah, just like that. And then I'm gonna use my NYX Loud. I believe this is in shade Daisy. Oh my god, it's Rebel Kind, you guys. And I'm gonna line the inside of the brown. Not the outside, the inside of the liner. I'm doing it with this lighter brown. So now I'm gonna take my lipstick. This is a satin, so it dries. Oops. This is just like that. And to make sure you bring it up a bit more too. Look at how pretty that looks, you guys. I love it. So this is really my Valentine's Day look. I think it's cute. Like, even with the red top, imagine you doing a look like this and then wearing a cute little red dress. Like, it would just set it off. Black or red are the two colors that I like to wear on Valentine's Day, if we're trying to stay on theme, you know. And now I'm just adding a little more blush because if y'all know me, you know that Tolu is a blush girl. I'm obsessed with blush. Okay, you guys, that's gonna be a wrap on today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you guys on my next video. Bye.